Hello, friends. Welcome back to Gracefully Finesse. I am Greg Acha, the host of the podcast. In this show, I cover a wide range of subjects from leadership and management, self-care and well-being, mental health, to wholeness, healing, spirituality, faith, and lots more. In the future, I'll be inviting guests who are experts in different fields to share from the wealth of their knowledge and experience. Please follow this podcast to ensure you don't miss any of our episodes. And do rate the show on any of the platforms that you're joining from. Please remember to forward and share with a friend. This week's episode is titled Envision What You Want to Become. In this episode, I want to talk about becoming what you see and helping you establish a vision. But ultimately, I want to leave you with a few takeaways that you carry for the rest of your day, your weeks, months, even years. If you struggle with sticking with your vision and staying the course of what you see, this episode is for you. But before I get started, I want to take a moment to specially thank you for being a part of this show and this community. I do not take the connection and your time for granted. So thank you so much from the depths of my heart. I will start today with a joke. I will attempt another joke today. As you know, Catholics do not eat meat on Fridays during the Lenten season, especially on Good Fridays. There was a Protestant living in a Catholic neighborhood. Every Friday, he would set up his barbecue and the aroma will fill the entire neighborhood, especially on the Good Friday. So the neighbors thought that the best solution was to convert him to Catholicism. He agreed, and a Catholic priest came and sprinkled water over him, saying, "You were born a Protestant, you were raised a Protestant, now you are a Catholic." The next year, on Good Friday, they smelled exactly the same aroma all over the neighborhood. And they could see the smoke from his backyard. So they all rushed to his compound. And when they arrived, to their greatest surprise, he was sprinkling water over his steak, saying, "You were born a cow, you were raised a cow, now you're a fish." This episode is titled Envision What You Want to Become. Your eye is your access to your future. And when I say eye, it's not necessarily your eyeballs, but what you see. So what you see today is your vision for tomorrow. Visionary people are women and men who see the future, believe what they see, and ultimately realize what they see. My question to you today is, what do you see? What desires do you have? What do you see yourself in the future? Or how do you see yourself in the future? In case you haven't taken your time to establish a vision for your tomorrow, take a moment today to see yourself, not as you are today. See yourself beyond your current state. See yourself accomplishing the desires in your heart. Because what you see is what you say. What you say is what you believe, and what you believe is what you become. I'll say it again. What you see is what you say. What you say is what you believe, and what you believe is what you become. I would dedicate another episode on the aspect of what you say and the power of words. So be on the lookout for that episode. Our discussion today will focus on what you see, what you believe, and what you become, or how you become. In case you didn't know about me, I am from a humble background. Actually, humble is an understatement. I'm from a very poor background. I remember myself years back in my little village in Envision, an orphan, no mother, no hope or a future. I remember seeing myself differently from other village boys and girls. I always saw myself successful. Because I could imagine being successful, I believed it. I tenaciously believed it. I had a picture of my future in my child's mind. A picture of successful me. Looking back, how far I've come, I can say I have had good successes. I can confidently say I have left or long left the squalor of the village. I'm becoming my vision. I want to stress the word becoming, as I'm not yet there. I'm still becoming. If you want to find out more about my story, please stay tuned for my upcoming book, this possibly by the end of spring or early summer. Your mind is the battlefield. It is where life battles are won or lost. Your life will always navigate towards where your mind goes. So where your mind goes, your life goes. Hence, the picture you are allowed to play in your mind becomes the pathway into your future. Take a moment to think about that. So the longer you dwell on that picture, the more it develops into a belief. And as you continue to see the picture and believe what you see, you gradually become whatever you see in your mind. The mind is powerful. The mind is the battlefield where life's battles are won or lost. In the scriptures, Abraham was old, and so was his wife Sarah. They both were past childbearing age. Abraham was, I think, about 100 at that time. God promised Abraham that he will have children and be father of many nations. God knew that it would take a shift in Abraham's mind to change his belief, because at his age, he believed he will never have children. God started by changing his name from Abram, meaning exalted father, to Abraham, meaning father of many. This tells me that, by implication, that every time someone called him Abraham, a picture was instantly painted in his mind, a picture of a father of many. And by the way, know that at this time, he had no children. God knew it would take transforming his mind to change Abraham's status and bring him to his future. And to achieve this, God took it to another level. In Genesis chapter 15, verses 1 to 6, New Living Translation, and I read. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abraham in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram. I am your shield, your abundant compensation, and your reward shall be exceedingly great. And Abram said, Lord, what can you give me, since I am going from this world childless? And he who shall be the owner and heir of my house is this steward Eliezer of Damascus. And Abraham continued, Look, you have given me no child, and a servant born in my house is my heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, saying, This man shall not be your heir, but he who shall come from your own body shall be your heir. Verse 5. And he took him outside his tent into the starlight and said, Look now towards the heavens and count the stars, if you're able to number them. Then he said to him, So shall your descendants be. And he, Abraham, believed, trusted, and relied on the Lord. I'll stop there. From the expert above, from the scriptures above, you will see that above all, Abraham saw himself childless. He saw himself as being childless. He didn't believe he could ever have a child. For him, all hope was lost. He was particularly concerned that a stranger will inherit all he has worked for. This was actually an outcome of his mistake, but we're not going to dive into that. It's not for today, but he's concern that a stranger will inherit all he worked for was an outcome of his mistake. But his mindset, if you read through, you'll see his mindset was going to keep him from the promises he had received. For him to see things differently, God took him out to the starlight and asked him to look and see a different picture. What God was doing was painting a picture that is different than what was in his mind. God said, Look at the stars in the skies. Can you count them? That is how many your descendants will be. I'm asking you today to take another look at your future. Create a new image. God needed to change the software in his mind. And so does you and me need to change the software in our mind. Going back to verse 5, I'll read it again quickly. And he said, that's God said, God brought Abraham outside his tent into the starlight and said, Look now towards the heaven and count the stars. If you're able to number them, then he said to him, So shall your descendants be. As long as Abraham focused on the picture he was being shown, the uncountable stars in the sky, he was going to reflect his new picture. You cannot imagine every evening when he looked outside, he saw the picture day in, day night. Every time Abraham walked out in the evening, he would, look up to the sky and saw this picture day in and day out. So the days became weeks, the weeks became months, the months became years, right? But he never gave up. he made a reflection of, the reflection of the picture he sees gradually started to become his reality. Abraham went on to have a son, Isaac, and of course many more children, including you and me, as we all stem from what he became, the father of many nations. What are the takeaways today? Key takeaways for you and me is 1, focus on what you want to become. What you focus on determines what you eventually become. Ignore your current reality and focus on what you want to be. Change your vision. Number 2, change what you see. Because as we said from the beginning, what you see is what you say, and what you say is what you become ultimately. Change your vision. See differently. And to say differently, change the input to your software. Stop thinking small. Think big. Dream big. Abraham's name was changed from exalted father to father of nations. That was a major shift. And for me, while I was in my poor little village, my mind was bigger than my reality. I always saw myself beyond successful. Friends, change what you see. And your third takeaway today is establish some affirmations, verbal or visual, of the new picture and vision you have of yourself. Say out loud to yourself. Make affirmations of what you want to see. Verbalize it. Say it to yourself. Say it to, your close circles. Put around you, in your office, your living area, your kitchen, pictures and visuals of what you want to become. The more you see them, the more you will believe them. And ultimately, the more you gradually become it, or they become your reality. For Abraham, the visuals were the stars he saw every night. His new name, that he was called several times in a day, which were all reminders, visuals that reminded him of the promise. For me, it was a clear vision of succeeding in the international stage outside my inconsequential village. It is still work in progress for me, but I'm miles away from where I started. I will end today with these words. Create a picture of what you want. Dream big. Believe you can become it, and it will become your reality. I'll say it again. Create a picture of what you want. Dream big. While you create that picture, believe you can become it, and it will become your reality. Thank you for your time today. Let me know if this has been a blessing and an encouragement to you. Also, let me know if there are any specific topics you want me to cover. Please email me or contact me on Instagram. All contact information can be seen in the episode description. Until I come your way next week, create a vision of what you want to become and continue to dream and think big. Thank you and have a great day.